The Commonwealth family is strongest when we are connected through friendship.
It did a lot of bad things to the world.
Him being here, coming here, means nothing to me, means nothing to Canada as far as I'm concerned.
He owns us. Hopefully not for long.
He's saying to the USA, no, we're not for sale. We are our own country.
Free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway, because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think, it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
The Mark Carney we saw during the campaign was elbows up, evil Donald Trump. You know, you have to bring Canada together to take this man down. And the Mark Carney in the Oval Office was more of a, please don't hurt us.
He's sitting with his tail between his legs yesterday, sitting next to Donald Trump. He will never defeat Donald Trump.
Let's face it, North America is the best continent on the planet. So I think unity would be a good thing for once.
Sydney Vizard for Rebel News, coming to you from downtown Calgary. After what has been months of political unrest here in Canada, the arena is shaking between the Liberals and the Conservatives and the separation movement that might be happening here in Alberta. Now, there's a lot going on, and two very interesting things have happened. Recently, Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, visited Donald Trump after months of very strenuous tariff negotiations and tariff actions that have been going on between Canada and the United States.
When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person. But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be.
They had their meeting, but also Mark Carney has invited the King of England, Charles himself, to perform the throne speech for the new session of Parliament.
To be clear, I made the request of His Majesty, and he has accepted. He will open Parliament with the speech from the throne, and that is it clearly underscores the sovereignty of our country.
After the federal election results, which caused Mark Carney, leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, to become Prime Minister, many here are asking whether or not separation is the right move for Alberta. The King of England represents a confederation, represents a solidifying of the Canadian identity, whereas President Trump has threatened many times to make Canada America's 51st state.
So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that.
These two things seem to be quite at ends with each other, and that's why we're asking Calgarians today what they think of Mark Carney's visit with President Trump and invitation to King Charles.
The Commonwealth family is strongest when we are connected through friendship.
The King is going to be coming to Canada before the end of the month. What do you make of this situation?
He owns us. Hopefully not for long, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of the crown.
Couldn't care less.
Don't really know who he is, but I think that's cool.
I guess he's opening Parliament. Yep. Hasn't happened since his mother did it in, the late 50s or something. So, I think it's good.
I don't have any problem with King Charles III, and he is our head of our government.
Actually, I'm a Canadian citizen, and I'm an oath to obey to Canada government and to the King and Queen.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to see him.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think it has some historical significance. I'm pretty patriotic, so I appreciate the independence, but it's important to maintain those international relations.
We'll see what sort of messaging he puts out to the public, but I think it's an important time for him to visit Canada and show that we do have strength as a country.
He's trying to make a point, right?
Yeah.
He's saying to the USA, no, we're not for sale. We are our own country.
In a way, it's the monarchy's support without coming out and saying too much.
If I'm honest, I don't feel as though they've worked with us enough.
The biggest thing is Alberta ain't separating.
Well,
he's got to put that point out, as he's already expressed, and we're not for sale, we're not separating, we're all in one.
When looking back on the story of Alberta, we see it extend well before 1905. They had a dream to build homes in a land where freedom reigned. They created a spirit of belonging to a bountiful country under the principles of peace, order, and good government, and the unifying influence of the Crown. It is a fitting homage to these ancestors that your motto is Fortis and Liber, strong and free.
Well, do you think that the royal family still has the same kind of importance here in Canada as it used to?
I think, yeah and no. I think it depends on the person. For me, like as a young teenager, not really, but I think for older people who have been around for generations, yeah.
He never did for me. Not really. He did a lot of bad things to the world.
Well, no, not really, but it's waning. I think we all loved Queen Elizabeth, but times are changing, and young people aren't interested the same as maybe I was when I was young, and I clipped all the pictures from magazines of all the royalty and all their glamour and all that, like maybe they do now with Taylor Swift.
I'm sure he has some importance to like some people.
None at all. Yeah. So, which is why him being here or coming here means nothing to me, means nothing to Canada as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I would hope so. They love this country. They always have. I mean, the Queen has been our mother for a long time.
I think Queen Elizabeth had her heyday, but ever since then, I don't think most of us really care that we have a king or queen.
Probably not, but I think Canadians, most Canadians, still see some kind of charm to it. They'll come out to see a lot of people will still come out to see royalty. Let's face it.
Gratitude for the lineage of North America needs to be given to all groups, and I don't think we should exclude the king on that one.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning, so I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine.
Mark Carney was just in the White House, but not yet have we seen movement on the tariff situation. Negotiations are just beginning. What did you make of Mark Carney's appearance in the White House recently?
I think he did fine. It's a hard job. That guy, Trump, is good at sort of putting you in a tough spot. And Carney held his own, I think, yeah.
Carney got our message across that Canada is not for sale, that we're not going to be the 51st state. So I think that's the most important message.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale.
I'm glad that President Trump is for Mark Carney. I'm glad.
The most important thing in North America, I think after growing up in 400 years of the Wild Wild West, I think unity is a really big thing, especially in North America, because let's face it, North America is the best continent on the planet. So I think unity would be a good thing for once.
Mark Carney needs to be prepared to stand his ground and come up with other ideas and ways to defend Canadian freedom outside of tariffs.
Is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
I think it was a good start. I'm fully behind Mr. Carney, and I think that you can't be pushy. You've got to be diplomatic, and I think he's smart. So it'll work itself in the future. Like things will work out.
I think it was muted. Just controls, better than Zelensky, I guess.
You're gambling with World War III, and what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
It seems also, though, like there's a bit of an about face. During the campaign, we saw elbows up. Our relationship with the United States is over.
But a system that's had helped deliver prosperity to our country for decades, I'm afraid, is over. And our old relationship, one of steadily deepening integration with the United States, is over.
And then he gets into the White House. They seem pretty chummy-chummy. Do you think that this is the same Mark Carney that we saw during the campaign?
I hope so. I hope that he has his elbows up for Canada, so to speak, and actually does defend our nation and keep us sovereign.
And that could be a facade or a little bit of a show for the people, but at least he's got that. I'm not going to take any more extra crud from you, Mr. President. You can say it all you want, but we're not going to play this game. That's good. I like that.
No. I think that the Mark Carney we saw during the campaign was elbows up, evil Donald Trump. We have to bring Canada together to take this man down. And the Mark Carney in the Oval Office was more of a, please don't hurt us. I'm just gonna do everything in my power not to screw Canada over because I'm in a precarious position.
Thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world.
We announced a series of measures with respect to online harm and other factors. Really just the sea of misogyny, anti-Semitism, hatred, conspiracy theories, this sort of pollution that's online that washes over our virtual borders from the United States.
We do have to try to have some relationship with the States. I mean, it's been a long time that we've had lots of trade back and forth, and just because a man comes in and kind of tries to shake everything up and doesn't think about the repercussions, I don't think that we should just forget about it.
During the campaign, of course, like everybody's anti-Trump, so he's got to appeal to the masses, and then when he goes there, he can't pick a fight with Trump at his own house. So he's got to play a bit nice and, put up with them, I think.
He's just going through the motions, and you got to be nice to that nut bar, otherwise he'll just throw you under the bus, right? And you can't trust that man. He changes his word every 6 minutes, Mr. Trump.
And the history of Canada and the U.S. is we're stronger when we work together, and there's many opportunities to work together. And I look forward to, addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation so we can go forward.
These are not idle threats. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us.
He was Mr. Tough Guy in the campaign, where he's going to deal with Trump and he's going to straighten everything out. And he's sitting with his tail between his legs yesterday, sitting next to Donald Trump. He will never defeat Donald Trump. Donald Trump has an agenda and has done ever since I can remember. He won't be defeated.
And really today marked the end of the beginning of a process of the United States and Canada redefining that relationship of working together. The question is how we will cooperate in the future.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you have a message for Prime Minister Mark Carney, President Donald Trump, or the King of England? Let us know in the comments the message that you think they need to hear, particularly for those in Alberta. For Rebel News, I'm Sidney Vizard. If you support our work and the journalism that we're doing here today, go to rebelfieldreports.com, telling the other side of the story and sharing the opinions of Canadians, opinions that actually matter. And if you want to see that, you can go to rebelfieldreports.com.